I was back at Bricks Minifigs in Omaha. I took a tour of the store with one of the managers. That video went up earlier in December. And today, of course, I did get some pieces while I was there. Today I want to look at what I got and also set a new record for the number of pieces that I fit in the standard $40 bag. And yeah, we'll get to the count at the end. Let's check out the individual pieces. You know, it's really a mix. It always is. Wow. Didn't make too much of a mess here. Like I said, I did set a new record for number of pieces in the bag. Mostly that is due to packing in smaller elements. So the bigger ones are kind of at the top right now. I'm not going to get too involved. But there's a lot of small pieces in here. Some of the big ones I'll point out just because they're on top. The 10x10 turbine. I think this is a Bionicle element. Did the hue tap on that a while back, and ever since I did that, it's kind of been a fun piece to look for. I got some more of these old blue rails, and I don't need any more of the curved ones for the bridge, but I do need some more of the straights. So I found one straight rail. I think actually when I picked these, I hadn't started on the bridge yet. It's always been, you know, the project in the back of my mind, one of those things that I've had. Oh yeah, one of these days I'll get started on that. So I saw the blue rails, grabbed those, and then shortly after that I actually did start on my train bridge. So one of these will be helpful. The rest of these, the curves, I don't actually need because I had enough. But you know, it's in the bulk, so it all works out. And of course, I did grab a few more of my signature part, the blue chair. Don't remember exactly how many. I think there's 2 or 3 in here. Set this one out earlier. This is interesting. 2x2 slope. This has the hollow, completely hollow, and it is also transparent. So this would have been kind of a handy part for many different things you can use that for. Fun to find one of those. A couple of Technic things. It's always a unique mix. Just the way that it's set up to pick from the loose, you always get something different, which is what I like. So, of course, I could stand here and talk about these pieces for hours. A very nice, crisp brick separator in teal. I probably wouldn't get an orange one. Got plenty of orange ones. Teal, kind of fun to get some different colors there. There are a few things that I did find in quantity. You'll see more of these in the mix. Kind of the curve inverted arch is what these would be called, I think. 1x5 in white. So there's probably 10 or so of these. One of the tables they had set up was more Friends parts, it seemed like. Like that was the table they parted Friends sets out into. And most of these were actually in that Friends part table. So it's probably from a Friends set, but there is something about when I'm picking, if I start to see a lot of something, that automatically inclines me to start picking it for some reason, which may or may not be a good thing. In any case, I ended up with a lot of those white inverted arches. I don't get these too often. Some larger, these would be 2x10 bricks in white. But you start looking at how much these go for on Bricklink or Bricks and Pieces, and getting these in bulk is actually worth it, because they're, I guess just because they're so large, it's a larger brick. Maybe not as common either. Those are double digits pieces. I think I have this in my plans, sketches for the Prince James observation car. So I know I already have 1 or 2, but it doesn't hurt to have an extra if I'm going to be using it. A couple of Technic panels that I have no idea what I'll be using them for. Very nice dark blue 1x10 brick. Might be my first 1x10 dark blue. And then I just spotted something that reminded me of some old classic space elements. I've got to find both of them. Give me a second here. Like that. One of them has a ball and socket. Whoops. Connection. It also has two studs on the top. And it is inverted regular slope. So that profile. The other one has a finger hinge connection. Older style of hinge type. It has no studs on top, and it is inverted curved slope. Kind of two different profiles. Similarly functioning piece here. At least one of these was in a classic space set, but these were probably also used in city. I also came across this old train window, another part that I really enjoy finding in the bulk because it is expensive on Bricklink. So like I said, like I mentioned, a new record for this bag, 1,221 pieces in the bag, and then with the backpack, 1,222. So was able to get a really good price on these. Of course, that bag is set at $40, no matter how many pieces you are able to pack in there. So that gets down between 3 to 5 cents a piece for all this good stuff here. I had a little bit of this, a little bit of the picking in the store tour, but I wanted to keep most of that to you know, with the interview of the manager and just going around the different sections of the store. So it didn't focus as much on the loose tables. We'll get a little bit of that here today. This is just what I ended up picking. A little bit on the smaller side for part variety. So it took me about 3 hours to pick all this. Actually, no. That was the total time I was there, including the store tour. So probably about 2 hours to pick this, which isn't too bad. It's a little bit of a time investment, but definitely worth it to me to have some of this more obscure stuff coming in. I'm always on the lookout for pieces I do not have in the collection in any color, and then parts that I know are harder to find in certain colors. Just takes a little bit of practice to actually know what to look for when it comes to that, and also keeping in mind what parts are new and keeping a lookout for those. So this would be an example of a pretty recent, the 3x3 with the radius on there as a plate. That was 2020 part. So, you know, looking out for new parts, looking out for rare stuff. I get retired colors, so there's old brown, there's old gray, prints, yes, various different prints. Actually a decent mix of the light yellow color this time. Most of this again over in that friends table. The 2x or the 1x6x2 arches, kind of a complement to the 1x4, which I have picked up from the Pick-a-Brick walls this year in a little higher quantity. So the bright light yellow color makes a good accent. Don't have plans for anything with that right now. But what makes it more fun when you're building is to actually have the stuff you need on hand. And for me, that means stocking a large variety of different parts and colors. And even with doing this for the past 3-4 years, of course I still end up with projects that require bricklink orders. But this does help me get pretty far into a build before I actually need to order parts. It helps me get a good idea of shapes and colors, pieces that I am going to still need. Sometimes I'm even able to find a workaround with parts that I do have already and use that solution instead of placing an order. Because if I can build something with parts that cost me 3 cents instead of parts that cost 15 cents, save a little money at the end of the day, I would definitely prefer that. So maybe the upfront cost is a little higher, $40 for a bag compared to a $10 to $20 bricklink order. But over time, over a year, buying a few $40 bags compared to 20 bricklink orders, in the long run, there is some savings here. And maybe I end up with parts I'll never use, or parts that I won't use for years. At this point, I have a storage system capabilities to kind of pack those away, so I'm thankful for that. But even if it's something that I look at years down the road and say, well, maybe I don't need this after all, then there is that secondary market of bricklink. Been thinking more and more about setting up a store for that, and maybe some of this stuff ends up helping out someone else with their creation. That'd work just as well. So there's a Bricks and Minifigs haul review video for today. That record coming in there is actually just 100 pieces or so more than the Chicago Bricks and Minifigs order. I don't know if I actually did a video on that. But earlier this year I did stop at another store and was able to do another very high volume $40 bag. But this one does cap out a little bit higher, so that's a new personal best to try and beat. Wouldn't be too hard because there's quite a few large parts in here, so I could definitely go and just pick a bag of small pieces, and if you're doing that you could probably get close to 2,000 for 40 bucks, but then you don't end up with some of this cool stuff. So it's a trade-off, and found the happy balance here today from the Omaha Bricks and Minifigs December haul. I'm sure we'll be back, and when we do get more stuff from there, we'll probably cover it here on Brick System Brothers. Thanks for watching today, guys, and we'll see you next time.